Hey Kim's team, I'd like to teach you how to take some great real estate pictures with your iPhone by just understanding 3 little tips. Please get out your iPhone and follow along. Hit the pause button on this video to stop if you need to check it out on your own phone, and then hit play to continue. Stop as often as you need. First, let's determine which iPhone you have. If it has 2 camera lenses, it's a basic iPhone. If it has 3 lenses, it's a Pro, and hopefully it has 3 because you're going to need that 3rd lens. I'm going to assume here that you have a Pro. Your iPhone is the only camera you need to make great real estate pictures. A dedicated camera, or one with different lenses, is only as good as the photographer knows how to use it. If you learn the 3 easy tips I'm going to teach you, your iPhone will be the perfect tool for the job. So, tip number 1 is understanding aspect ratios. A photographic ratio is the width in relation to the height of a picture. Now, this is the difference between a 4:3 ratio and a 16:9 ratio. Think of old TV screens, which are 4:3, and new TV screens, which are 16:9. Now, MLS wants your pictures to be 1024 pixels wide by 768 pixels high. So that's a 4:3 ratio, so we need to make sure that the camera is set to 4:3. Now, MLS uses 4:3, but YouTube uses a 16:9 ratio, so if you want to create videos from your photos, you'll also need to take pictures in the 16:9 ratio, but fortunately it's very easy to switch back and forth on the iPhone. You can do one on 4:3 and one on 16:9 immediately thereafter. So this is how to change the ratio on your phone. First, click the camera icon and then tap the chevron at the top of the viewfinder to show the hidden drawer near the bottom. If the ratio says 4:3, you're good to go. If it says 16:9 or 1:1, then change it to 4:3. Now, no matter what resolution your camera is set to, your pictures will be the right size for MLS when you reduce them to 1024 by 768. Easy, eh? Before we go on to tip number 2, you might want to stop the video now and give it a try on your iPhone and just see how easy it is to do. So tip number 2, landscape or portrait mode. Taking outside shots. The best house pictures are taken on an overcast day or when the sun is near the horizon, either early morning or late afternoon, so that you don't have hard shadows. And when you're taking a picture from inside the house that has a window, it won't have hard sunlight shining through, which will wash out all the detail from everything around it. I know that's not something you can control, but it's something to be aware of if you have a choice of appointment times. Whenever possible, turn the camera, phone, on its side. This is called landscape mode as opposed to up and down, which is called portrait mode. We're used to holding our phones in portrait mode, and sometimes people forget to turn them on their side when taking pictures. Landscape mode will include more of the property details than portrait mode. Portrait mode often shows a lot of sky and grass in the front. Also, when a portrait mode picture is shown on the website, it will have black bars on either side. This is not terrible when viewing individual images, but if you put it in a slideshow or video, it's a visual shock to see black borders. In other words, it just doesn't flow. I'd like you to just compare the landscape portrait images of our house. Now you're ready to shoot. Stand back as far as possible so that you include the whole house in the middle of the frame and have as much of the property included on the sides as possible. For your main pictures, make sure you don't cut off the sides of the house. In fact, it's a really good idea to include more than you need on either side, even if you don't want it in the finished picture. The reason for this is that it gives options for cropping to make an average picture great. Now keep that distance and walk around the whole house, taking lots of pictures from different angles. but always including the whole house, never cutting off the edges for your main shots. Again, I know this isn't always possible. I'm just giving best case scenarios. And finally, tip number 3, use a wide-angle lens. If you can't get far enough away from the house to include it all, this is where you're going to change lenses. The iPhone Pro has a wide-angle lens. You will see it as 0.5. It also has a normal lens, which you'll see as 1x, and a zoom lens, which is 2x, and it also does digital zoom up to 10x. You'll see your choices just above the button for shooting. Check it out now. So this is a 4:3 ratio, taken at one time. If I want to go to 5 or 0.5, it's a long view, take another picture there. Want to go up to 2, you can see that we have a close-up, but we get cut off. And if we want to make it even more zoomed in, we can go right up to 10 times there. So we have a lot of flexibility by holding on the zoom, but 1 is probably good for here. For outside shots, you can take both normal, 1x, and wide angle, 0.5, of the same shot, and then when you're going over them, you can choose which one looks best for uploading. Probably the wide angle will need some cropping, and that's okay. Now, taking inside shots, take shots right from the front door, through the hallway, and into each room as if you're taking your client on a visual journey so they have an idea of the layout of the house from your pictures. Stand as far back as possible when taking each picture, usually in a corner. And you may even want to take a picture from outside the doorway of a room to include as much as possible, but just make sure you don't get the door frame in the picture. Whenever possible, use landscape mode, both wide angle and normal. Wide angle will make everything appear bigger and can sometimes look a little distorted, although the iPhone is pretty good at not showing images as distorted. For some things, like very small rooms, you may need to use portrait mode. Always use wide angle or 0.5 setting when taking portrait mode shots for showing rooms. We recently had one of our bathrooms renovated. This is the normal 1x lens, and this is the wide angle lens. Notice the difference. Well, that's all you really need to know to take great real estate pictures and to have them show up the correct size on the website and MLS. So to summarize, tip number 1, make sure your camera settings are 4:3 ratio for MLS pictures. Tip 2, use landscape mode whenever possible and include the whole house in your main shots. Don't cut off any of the sides. Tip 3, if you don't want to change lenses, use the wide angle or 0.5 lens for everything. Take lots and lots and lots of pictures so you can choose the best ones. Send them to me. I will edit them and make them look the very best they can be. I look forward to seeing your new great pictures of your new properties. If there's anything I can do to assist you, I have had 8 years of photography courses, and I just love to share my knowledge with anybody who is interested in learning. So take some great pictures and send them to me. Bye for now.